Alright, today in my kitchen I'm going to cook a fish. I'm going to fillet it, I'm going to debone it, and then I'm going to season it, and then I'm going to cook it, and then I'm going to eat it. And I'm going to video it, maybe not the eating it part, for a request. A dude at work wants to know how is it I cook my fish. And so here is today's victim. Today's victim is from tip of the tail to the nose, 20 inches, 20-inch rainbow. It's a good, decent sized rainbow from Butte Valley Reservoir. That's right, not to be confused with Butte. It's Butte Lake. So anyway, without further ado, I'll try to keep this video short, but it's not exactly a very quick process. So let's just see how we do here. Alright. Hopefully that works out. Videoing is not my forte. Alright, so first thing I do is I turn the belly away. This is how I fillet it. Maybe somebody else has a better way of filleting, but this is how I fillet it. Hold the fin back. If you catch right behind the fin, you can feel where the cartilage or the bone is at. And that's where I begin my incision. Okay. And then all the guts and stuff will trim that crap out afterwards. Alright. Now, knife is against the spine, halfway through the fish, and then I just turn it. Make sure you have a good, strong, flexible fillet knife. Okay. Put a finger in there to hold up the belly. And then I just start slicing along that spine. And voila. There's one half. Flip the sucker. Do it again. Cutting the second side is a little bit different because you don't have the meat on the other side, so your fish sits like this with the head facing and stuff, so it's kind of a different, funkier angle, but it just takes practice. Just takes practice. The most important part is don't cut your fingers off, because you need to use a pretty sharp fillet knife. I use Cutco, and it's been a good knife. When you get to here, you want to make sure that your knife is cutting above that fin. Sometimes, like I got this back little fin piece here, because I've been cutting it pretty close lately. I just don't like to waste all the meat, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, this is how I fillet a fish. And then the second half here, very carefully. Don't cut your fingers off, but make sure you're above that, whatever that fin's called. Okay. Now, I have two fillets and a much skinnier fish. Some people like to cook this stuff up and snack on it or something like that. I mean, it's not much meat, but you can save it, but this is what you get left. This is what you get left. Alright. Throw that away. Okay. Next, we want to get rid of these ribs. All these ribs we're going to cut out so you can feel the points on them. I got a lot of it out in the fillet. That it usually doesn't happen. But you just want to, I always start little shallow cut just to kind of get my guide kind of going in there. I mean, it's going to be weird because that's never happened before, I swear. Okay, now again, don't cut your fingers off, but I always use my fingers or my hand, and I point the knife up a little tiny bit, but just so I can get as much of the meat off of the bones as possible. And very short, little shallow cuts as to not cut my fingers off. I actually I actually like my fingers. Okay, gotta do it again here. Okay, this, I did not make this easy on myself by cutting that much of the ribs out before, but that's alright, I can improvise. You can kind of feel with your knife too. That's not going to count. What's a bone that needs to go and what's not. You can kind of feel it by snapping it in there. But again, I've done this a couple of times. Of course, now that I'm videoing, I get this weird thing. Now, I don't know if this matters, but I feel weird about eating a fish's butthole, and I cut this one pretty close, so I'm going to get rid of the fish's culo, because it's just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe it's tasty. I'm not sure. I'm not going to find out. And then you have the fin. Hard to describe, but if you put your knife all the way into the armpit or whatever the heck you call it, there's still cartilage in there. So I always come back a little tiny bit, and you can see the shape of the meat. You can see the shape of it, but if you cut it too close, you just feel all that cartilage. You end up cutting this little tiny guy out. You can fry that up. I don't know. That's the equivalent of chicken leg, dark meat, and a fish, if that's a thing. I don't know. I'm just making that up. Okay. Now, you have it mostly clean. Right here, I didn't feel no bones in there. There might be one or two. The next one will come out a little cleaner. All right. And then there's this one. Okay, so you probably noticed in the first one I cut away, and it's because I'm right-handed, and it just works because all the bones are lined up this way, and I don't know what that has to do with anything, but in here I like to cut towards myself. It's the exact same thing. You start your little starter, hopefully. Okay, just a little starter, and these ribs will actually protect you a little bit, but remember, you don't necessarily want to cut deep on your first round, unless you get pretty good at it, I guess. Then you probably could, but I like to do, I just call it, I don't know, a guide cut. Okay, once you got that one started, remember to point your knife just into the ribs a little bit so you don't cut straight down and get rid of all the meat. Now, the thing about a fillet knife is it's flexible, so it will take the shape that it has to, and that's how it helps cutting up a fish easier. In case you're not familiar with that stuff, I don't know how much people know, and I don't do videos. I don't do that publicly thing. I just know how to cook a fish, how I like it. Okay, so that's all gone. Again, I don't like to eat a fish's butthole, so I'll get rid of a butthole. Okay, just seems weird. I don't even feel right grabbing it by the butthole. I'll get rid of that. And then this thing, same thing. Catch it from the armpit, slimy little armpit, a little bit farther back. Okay, and then just slimy little bastard. Okay, again, you can cook that sucker up if you want a little, I don't know, armpit kebab. Get rid of this little thing. You can trim off some stuff if you've got some weird stuff that you don't like in your fillet. You can. It's all edible, I suppose, except for the bones. All right, now that that's done, here comes the tedious part. Okay? If you run your hands this way, it feels nice and good, but if you run your hands this way from head towards the tail, you can feel right here along this line, you can see it's catching on some bones. This is not my favorite part, but you get yourself a seat. You get yourself comfortable, and you get yourself some tweezers. I used curved ones, and you can pull these bones out. It takes some practice finding the right angle. You see there's these little bones, little tiny ones. If you eat fish, you know the ones. And I like to pull these out at the exact same angle that I see the bones in the fish. Now, when you got these pliers, here's what I've learned from trial and error. If you squeeze really hard, you're going to break the bone, and you're not going to be able to find the end of it again, and it's going to remain in your fish. So you get some good pliers, or forceps, or whatever. I got these one time. I got stitches, and the doctor gave me these to keep because he can't use them again or something. But you just grab it ever so gently. It's got grip texture. I don't know if that even shows up on there or not, but well, I can't get it to. But anyways, that's just a pain in the butt here. So I'm just gonna do it. If I mumble, it's because I'm in the zone. I'm hungry. So if you have a girl you're trying to impress, or if you're a girl cooking a fish and you have a guy you're trying to convince that you know how to cook so that he'll marry you or something, you want to debone this thing, because then it's an impressive meal. Otherwise, people generally will say, I don't like fish. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think the reason why most people don't like fish is because there's bones in it and it's a pain in the butt to eat. But not when I do fish. And I don't cook to impress nobody but my daughter, and she will eat the fish that I cook. She loves it. At least that's what she says. And she eats it. And I go back and I get more. I hope this video comes out okay. So as you can see, this is a tedious thing because there's like a lot of them. If you're not familiar with this part, if you're doing this for the very first time, yeah, it's not the funnest part. I don't know if you can hear them kind of snapping, but oh, I guess another important thing to keep in mind is the bigger the fish, the easier that these come out, because bigger fish have bigger bones. I would say a 16-inch fish, these should come out just fine. But smaller than that, you're probably going to leave a lot of bone. And then your girlfriend's going to be like, yeah, maybe I should cook from now on. Or your boyfriend's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to see if I can find one that can cook a fish without bones. I'm just kidding. I actually don't even like cooking, and and when you get to the end, when you get to the light at the end of the tunnel, I don't know if you can see what I got going on here, but because of the way you cut it, there's always like one here on the end. Again, if there's a little bone in there, you get an E for effort, or whatever they say. Something. You can still eat it. And then I just kind of run my finger back and forth and make sure. I just give it a little tickle. Make sure I don't see, you'll feel a pokey thing in there. Okay? A lot of times you can actually bend the fish and that'll expose a bone. Like if you break one off, you can do that. Alright, so here we are with a boneless chunk of fish. I'm going to quarter this fish. Okay. Halfway there, living on a prayer. And we do it again. Ooh, this one, the bones are a little deeper under the meat. Let's see how extraction goes on this. Back here, they're easy to get to. Okay. I think we'll be alright. Remember, you want to pull the bones out. You don't want to just rip bones out like that or like that or like that. You want to go the angle that you can see them. And if you're not sure, once you find the first bone and you're not sure which angle it is, you just feel around. You can always find them sticking out just a little bit. You can find some of them sticking out just a little bit, and you can see the angle that it is. So I'm actually seeing them at about this angle right here, which is pretty close to the grain, if you can see the grain of the meat. Okay, so that's kind of the angle of the dangle that I'm seeing, and I'm pulling them straight out. I'm not bending my pliers or nothing. I'm just grabbing it gently and an easy little tug. Easy little tug. Just tap it. Okay. I'm going to see if I can speed this up just a little bit. If this is the first time doing it, just plan on it taking an hour to prepare your fish. Or plan on cooking a few fish before you invite that special girl over, that special someone over. And if you got kids, you just tell them to eat it. You can cook it up for your kids, but if you got kids that complain, you want it clean so it's not another excuse for them to not like fish. Oh. Sometimes a bone will put up a fight. You saw that. That took a couple tugs. Another reason why you want to grab it lightly is so that it doesn't stick to your tweezer plier things. Because fish is kind of sticky and wet and slimy and got oil and stuff, and it just tends to stick around. I don't. Again. And sometimes you'll have like a little bit of meat sort of on that bone. It's just not that clean, and it's like stringy. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's fine. You're not losing any meat. Sometimes if your fish has been in the fridge for a day or 2 days, these sometimes come out a little bit cleaner too. If you do it right out of the lake, for some, I don't know if it's because the meat is at its strongest at that point and it holds on to the bones pretty good. I have no idea, but a lot of times I'll catch a fish, and I mean I'll do this either way, but sometimes it's just easier to have one fish, fishing day, and then whatever other fish you caught, hopefully you caught a few later in the week, and the bones seem to kind of come out a little bit easier-ish. Maybe I'm making that up, I don't know. Okay, and again, once you get to the end of the line, there's always bone in that end where you cut. So we'll check it until there ain't. No, nothing left. Okay. And the best part about this is that eventually you're done and you can effectively feel where they are. After you've done this a few times, it ain't so bad. When you just learn, you gotta just freaking relax. Alright. Quarter in it. Okay, here we are. Some clean fillets. Okay. All right, now that we have beautiful, clean, thick, juicy, no longer refrigerator temperature fillets, well, that's just some good stuff right there. These are going to be pretty big, so I'm probably going to have to cook twice. Throw them on a plate as best you can, I guess, or something. Okay. All right. Then, once you're about ready anyways. Yeah, that's how I recycle my jeans, by the way. Recycled sweatshirts. That's my fishing stuff. I have worn all of my cutting board equipment to the lakes. You find your seasonings now. What I like to go with is lemon pepper. I also like to, so living in Nevada, everything's got to have some sage on it because, oh, that's, yeah, it's sage, rubbed sage. Everything's got to have sage on it when you live in Nevada because, I mean, yeah, it's just what you do. Everybody knows that. Fishmonger and... Okay, so today I'm going to do a thing. This one is called Fishmonger from, I guess it's Fire and Smoke Society, who makes this. But it's not too bad. It's all right. And because I'm a ginger, I throw ginger on a bunch of stuff too. And special for today, because lemon pepper is just not enough, we're going to do some of this too. Okay. I don't normally cut up lemons. I normally am very simple. But for a video, we'll do some of this. We'll make it juicy again. Am I dripping on the floor? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Okay, I'll throw some. I just bought this one today because I used up my other thing of lemon pepper. I don't know if you know this, but I eat a little bit of fish. Like, a lot of the time. Okay. Okay, I have overdone it on some lemon pepper before because there's salt in it. And if you get too much salt in it, it's not so good. But, so I just kind of put the shaker on it, like a foot or 10 inches above it. That way, as it's falling, it spreads out a little better. Gives you better, I don't know. You know how to season food. I don't need to tell you. Sorry for yelling. Okay. Rubbed sage, because we live in Nevada. You don't have to use rubbed sage. If you live somewhere else, you can use rubbed whatever else they got. Or go outside and just get some stuff out of the yard. I don't know. Just make sure it makes sense for what you like. Okay, and ginger. I imagine not everybody's a ginger, but I am, so I throw some of this on it. Gingers are an endangered species. Maybe not now, because now everybody wants to be a ginger. And garlic, you can never go wrong throwing some garlic, but and the extra lemon, I'm gonna save that for the plate when it's done. Okay. Once you got that side seasoned to your liking, just flip them up. We're gonna season the skin side a little bit differently. I don't know about y'all, but I eat the skins on my fish because that's where all the omega-3s are, and I don't know, I'm not a doctor or a magician. Well, I might be a magician, I don't know. We're gonna do some garlic. And go heavy on the skin, especially if you don't like the skin. And that's where the fishmonger comes in. Okay. Fishmonger, go good on skin. And then, I might as well throw a little bit more lemon on the skin too. Alright. Ginger's good. If you like spicy, I sometimes I'll make a spicy one of these and I'll throw the good stuff on there. I'll still throw the same stuff on there, but I'll swap something out for cayenne. Maybe instead of garlic, I'll put cayenne on it. But, you know, it just kind of makes it healthier. So, here we are, seasoned up and stuff. You might not like fish skin, but I do. That's all where the good healthy stuff is. All right, I'm going to attempt to move the camera to a spot. So bear with me because I haven't tried to record my cooking yet, and so this is going to be interesting. Okay, let me get something ready, and then we'll be good to go. Maybe. I didn't think this through. Okay. All right. I think I found a solution. I'm not exactly using a GoPro, but I think that'll do. Okay, darn it, I'm gonna make a modification. I'm making this up as I go completely, if you can't tell. Oh, I think that's going to be the ticket. Ooh, I think that gonna do. I think that's gonna do. Okay, so how I roll on this is I use one of these guys. I've ever seen this one on TV or something. I got it from my mom because she was into Pampered Chef, and then I get the leftover, not the leftovers, the hand-me-downs. I was also the youngest growing up, so I got the hand-me-downs when it came to clothing. And finally it's paying off. I now get the hand-me-downs to my mom's cookware. She cooks a lot more than I do. I really just got good at cooking fish. That's pretty much it. Okay, I will throw some butter on here because you cook fish with butter. It's just what you do. Alright. Okay, let's see. While these are preheating, I'm going to do another modification to my tool. Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell. I might suck at this game. It's alright, pans are preheating, so. It's time to. Oh, is that going to be the ticket? Sweet. I'm glad I didn't burn my hair off. Okay. The cooking it part's actually pretty quick. The preparing the fish is not. One of the tricks to any kind of fish, I think, is to not overcook it. Now, if it's questionable whether your fish is still good or not, I'd say cook the piss out of it, or just get another one. But if your fish is fresh, you barely want to cook that thing. You just want to cook it so it's not cold and weird. The longer you cook it, the drier it'll come. I mean, it's like steak. I mean, how you like your steak, do your fish the same way, but it doesn't take very long. I'll try to call out the time on the clock as I'm seeing all this stuff, or as I'm going through this process. I forgot to wipe down my thing, so it still has yesterday's oil on, not yesterday, but probably Friday's. It's Monday today. Okay. Is the pan ready? That one. Ooh, I think it is. Alright, so I'm on medium heat, and I'm going to put the fat ones on first because they're thicker. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to put it meat side down. I'm going to go, and also I'm going to put the belly side towards the edge of the pan because it's thinner, so the thickest part of the meat is towards the middle of the pan. Okay. And let's Sizzling madness. I'm cooking rainbow trout. Okay, now what I do, you can see it start to turn white on the bottom side where it's already starting to cook. So I let it start turning white until it's about halfway through, and then I put this guy on there. Assuming that this is looking healthy. Yeah. Right, keep that thing getting hot. Another thing that you can do, I actually meant to do a thing and melt some butter and put it in a dish and get one of those basting, not a baster, but those brushes, a paintbrush to brush oil onto the tops of them. But I didn't do that. So you don't want to put this right onto the skin. So you want to put a spray, some sort of a very heavy coat. You can get all kinds of cooking sprays, I imagine. This one is olive oil. Okay. I don't know if that's the best one, but that's what I got, so that's what I'm using. Put a good heavy coat of that. And I can see it's turning white through that fish. And so now for my next trick. Alright, I'm coming up on... Oh yeah, I forgot to call out the time. So far it's been cooking for 3 minutes. I put it on, the clock said 7:10. Right now the clock says 7:13. So 3 minutes in, a medium heat. That's my medium heat, the flame, if you can see it. And then I put the top skillet on it. And while this is doing its last little thing, I'm going to get a baked potato ready in the microwave. No! See what happens when I walk away for just a minute. I obviously need better gear. Okay. I am totally not too good to put a potato in a microwave. I will put a potato in the microwave. Alright, it is 7:15 now. It's been a total of 5 minutes. I'm turning off the heat and I'm going to continue to let it do its thing just for a minute. And normally I don't have this big of fillets. This was a pretty good sized fish. And so they would fit underneath this thing. These ones are got quite a bit around the edge. It's not underneath it. So the skin's not going to have that grill effect on that the same way, which is fine. It's still food and it's still edible and it's still going to put on some weight. I mean, taste good and be nourishing. All right. So excuse my lack of technology. I've never done a YouTube video or whatever people do these days. The best I've ever done is record a couple guitar licks in my music room, which it's not hovering over the stove for that experience. So this is a little different. So the time of year, I think it is April 17th. I think it's the 17th. And the frozen lakes are thawing out, but they're still not ready to get on them and fish. I think not for another week, maybe 2 weeks. And so I've been exploring different options. I'm actually new to fishing as far as like I just started fishing, like meaning it, for coming up on 1 year. Next week will be almost, not next week, next month will be almost 52 weekends in a row of fishing. I have missed 2 weekends. I've only missed 2 weekends because I spent Cantaloupe Festival terrorizing. That's what we do in Fallon, is Cantaloupe Festival in the summertime. So that stopped me from going fishing for 1 weekend. And what was the other one? I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, it was because I didn't have all the right gear to keep going. So I went, caught a couple fish, and was like, ooh, man. Missed 1 weekend, and instead went to the store and bought a bunch of toys. And then from then on, kept fishing. And I'm going to keep doing it. It's mountain therapy. I take my nephews, my daughter's friends. So, you know what they say, take a kid fishing. Alright, she's done sizzling, so that means that she's done cooked what she's gonna cook. Pull the thing off. And you can see, voila, it's got all them grill marks in it and everything. Yep, and you can pull one of these bad boys right off. Oh, look how soft that is too. I'm going to flip it over so you can see how she came out. Okay. This is the conclusion. That's how it do. Okay. That's how I cook my fish. That's how I cook my fish. So I hope this is helpful to you. I don't have the most impressive kitchen, but oh, that's hot. Oh, perfect. That comes out perfect every time. Ah, that's hot. Yep. So, now you know. That's how I do it. Potatoes got 3 minutes left. And we're 7:20. So that's 10 minutes from the first sizzle to the first bite. 10 minutes. Again, oh yeah, right, lemon. Don't forget lemon, all right? Throw some lemon on. Oh, you don't really need it. That's just good stuff. So it's tender. Yeah, if you want to see my contraption, that's what I hung my phone on to make this video. But the weight of my phone rocked back like this, so it pointed down. That's why I had to modify my contraption, is control the bend so my phone can tilt. I can kind of control that. But it was, and then it was hanging off of that, like, that's why it kept falling off. So anyways, thanks for bearing with me for kiwis fillet trout. Have a good one.